Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. Hello. It's always great to see you guys on another lovely Tuesday, where, of course, we talk about everything from political news to regular news, world stories, and, the latest YouTube, whatever is going on, whatever catches anybody's eye. Of course, you guys are my co-hosts, along with, of course, the wonderful voice of reason and consciousness, Brother Nate. Are you ready, sir? All right, just let me know when you're ready. Cool. No, let's get started. How are you?
And consciousness.
Yeah.
It's almost unconsciousness today.
Well, that's good. We always have our days, some days, so it's all good.
It just feels like forever now, huh?
Right. What's going on? Hey, Auntie Melissa Scott, how are you?
Hey, Auntie Melissa. I heard you, girl, all early in the morning.
Yeah, I missed it. I was still kind of getting my last minutes of morning rest in, so I got to go back and check it.
Yeah, she did one this afternoon. I had to check that out too.
Yeah. And Star Bella, what's going on?
Hey,
and
Star
those
Bella,
of you in the balcony, welcome. And let's get started. Why don't we? Anything you got to add? Anything you did productive this week before we?
I've done absolutely nothing.
Nothing? You mean in this heat wave you've done nothing?
And that's why I did absolutely. That's probably why I feel like shit too. Stuff's out here baking us half to death. Today was actually the first cool day, so.
Right. Hey, what's going on, Vanessa Williams? How are you? Oh,
should I say
Dr. Williams? Good evening.
We have a doctor in the midst?
Yes. A medical doctor, and I know just
food. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
And beautiful to add,
Oh, wow, okay.
Definitely.
That works.
So welcome. And speaking of heat, it's been extremely warm all over the world. The damn globe is hot. Talk about the block is hot. The damn globe is hot. So please make sure that everybody is staying cool and keeping away from being outdoors if you can. Those of you who have to, I understand, but health is wealth, people, and make sure we are staying on top of that. All right.
Stay hydrated.
Yes,
please. Stay hydrated.
Drink plenty of water and fluids to make sure you're hydrated. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back. Okay, I don't know what that's all about, but all right, we just gonna ignore all that. But anyway, let's get into the news and breaking news and news updates with our All right. Let's get into this news. But first of all, let's just shout out the little double screen here. We upgrade and elevate. So I got a little double screen added, little screen thing here to my laptop. So there's a screen here and a screen here. So if you see me veering off, I'm looking at the other screen here. Because when you start to do better, you got to elevate yourself. So and it's easier for me because I don't have to keep flipping from the one thing and trying to hope I don't close out the entire screen. So news update first, let's talk about the judge that found enough evidence to pursue criminal charges against Elijah McClain's killers. The defendants who previously were indicted by a grand jury are now have a combined count of 32. And of course, these looks like 5 white men who killed Elijah McClain. For those of you who don't remember the story, Elijah McClain was the young man who was kind of a social introvert, walking home with a Scully hat on, and somebody felt the need to be a productive citizen and call the police because they claimed they saw a suspicious person in the area, and these police officers began to harass this young man who immediately told them that he suffered from different ailments and is the reason why he wears the ski mask. And they pretended to continue to harass him and handcuff him. Didn't the MT inject him with some kind of sedative, which wind up causing him to go into cardiac arrest. So new update on this case, of course, because there was really not much talk about it at all. Okay, you up here again?
Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm doing
okay.
something. I'm trying something real quick.
Okay. Did you want me to click it or just?
No, don't do anything yet.
Okay. All right. All right. So, so in this case, new evidence, and this judge has definitely found it prudent for these men to get some more counts added to them. It went up to now 32 counts in Elijah McClain's death, including manslaughter, criminal negligence, homicide, and homicide as well. In 2019, McClain had died in police custody in Aurora. Police officers placed him in a hold. They called the paramedics. Of course, the paramedics overdosed him while he was detained. So, he even signaled that he could not breathe. So, as usual, here we go with the same old story. For those of you who are new to the story, this has happened some time ago in 2019, and a judge has now seen new evidence to add more counts to these men's charges. So,
and remember, also they were caught. They made a video of them actually taunting,
right, making fun of him.
After this was after they murdered him.
Right. Which they claim he wasn't dead at the time that they were making fun. Whatever. What difference does it make? But yeah, just crazy. But I hope they get every bit that's coming to them. I really do, and I hope it's not just for show to add. I hope this judge is not running for election or something like that, to where in which he wanted to do this.
Yeah, because you always have to look in the background to see what the actual motive is.
Right, because there's always a motive with these mofos that, I hope it's not election season for this judge and he wants to, play favor with the voting bloc. In other updates, Brittany Grinder is set to testify in her Russia trial. For those of you who don't know, that is the WNBA star who has been in Moscow for many months now. I think since February, I want to say.
Yes, it was February.
Yeah. Since February, she was detained for having cartridges of marijuana or the THC kind of substance in her luggage. Her doctor has come forward and said that she has had a prescription for it, and that they knew about it. But I don't know. I've watched even LeBron James talk about it, and they were talking about how, of course, why would she feel like she's an American if her own government doesn't want to fight for her? But then my thought was, okay, she's one person. Do you know how many other individuals are detained from other governments? A lot. Just because she happens to be somewhat of a political public figure, a public figure, not necessarily political, but a public figure. It is kind of funny that, I know why Russia's doing it, because of course you're trying to put pressure on the United States to, you want her release, then stop fighting for Ukraine and all this other stuff. But I don't think that's a tough one. I don't think they're going to be willing to do that. I really don't.
Well, they know that's a big money thing there. So
yeah. But then I hope this shows a lesson, and I get that being in the States and playing professional ball and stuff may not be as lucrative as it could be when you do overseas games during the off season. But note that you are not protected just because you are an American when you do play overseas. So be very mindful of that. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the chat. Please make sure that you hit that like button on your way in. Definitely appreciate it. It would be definitely appreciated. Hey, Patty Duke, what's going on, Miss Patty? Hey, what's going on, AR? Nice to see you, sir. JLC, how are you? Nice to see you. Detach yourself, welcome. And Nicole Goddess, how are you? Nice to see you. All right, so moving right along, and in some other news updates, the ex Minnesota officers who have been sentenced to 2.5 years for their role in George Floyd's death. Meanwhile, these are just the standard buyers or the other people that were resting on George Floyd that we did not see behind the police vehicle, and the officer who was in the street, kind of keeping the crowd at bay from what was going on at the scene. So one of the officers has just gotten 2.5 years in prison on Thursday for violating George Floyd's civil rights. I, I really don't know. I mean, I personally, I always knew that this was probably going to happen because they were looking to get Derek for what he did because he was the one on the video. But I think everybody else, they were trying to be like, well, you didn't cause his death, so kind of thing. This was Officer Thomas Lane. Thomas Lane, who is white, held George Floyd's legs while Derek was on George Floyd's neck. So he's one of the first officers to get sentenced to 2.5 years. Your thoughts?
Now we're just waiting on the other two.
Right.
I was expecting at least 7 to 10.
Mm.
That's what I mean by being such a high profile.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Chauvin got 20 plus.
Yeah, 20 plus.
And I was really expecting them to get a little bit more because they could have just said stop, get off.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. You could have just said stop, get off of him.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's the part where I'm just like, well, 2.5 years, that's nothing, because he's probably going to appeal that, and it's going to be a lot less by the time we walk away from it and not pay attention to it anymore. He'll be free, or at least be in house arrest or some BS or something. And
these were all rookies, correct?
The initial cops that stopped him were rookies. Yeah, I believe. If not rookies, they were pretty fresh, maybe a year or two in. Derek was the only senior officer on the scene. So they felt that was their reasoning for not telling Derek to stop, because he was the higher officer on the scene.
Yeah, but you can still tell him stop.
Yeah, I mean, you would do something.
Goddamn, it was 4 of them.
Right. And you could see where the man was losing consciousness and everything. So I don't understand how. Now, of course, in hindsight, after everything's over, now you could see that, oh yeah, well, maybe we should have said, yeah, but it's too late now. Mm-hmm. So I think, people need to start being held accountable for their actions or their lack of, in this case. Yeah. If you're there to protect and serve, you're there to protect and serve everybody, even the people in your custody. Just doesn't make them outlaws or bad people because they happen to be in police custody. You are still there to protect and serve them too. And again, that's just real messed up. But that's the justice system for you, or lack thereof.
Yeah, now he's the only one that's split from the other two. So I'm wondering what their sentencing is actually going to be. Yep.
Yeah.
We lost. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, did I knock myself out? Yeah.
Are you drinking? I'm not.
No, not yet. Anyway, I was just trying to get my drink over there, my drink of water over there, and I had to cough at the same time. All right, so health. 42% of people with regular periods, for you women, reported heavier bleeding after COVID vaccine. So for women, definitely something to pay attention to if you have been vaccinated. If these are symptoms that you are experiencing since getting the jab or whatever you want to call it, but temporary menstrual changes may be more of a side effect of the COVID-19 vaccine than previously understood by researchers. So apparently, this was something that was kind of talked about and may have been a side effect, but there have been a lot more cases of people who, since they've had the COVID shot, have been women rather have been having heavier menstrual cycles than usual.
So it's goddamn Republicans. You know why? They try to make everybody more fertile.
Oh Lord
They
Jesus!
they even getting all, even getting the old lady. So don't be
But I
surprised
mean,
if
I
you
would,
60. You
I
60 now, you be popping up pregnant.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them. I swear, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, every day it seems like it's getting closer to looking like Gilead to me, but I don't know.
Ladies, get your robes. Shit.
The red robes and those white
Yeah,
little
those
hybrid things.
looking like nuns.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did a study with 3,500 people who identified as gender diverse and also somewhat racially diverse. Although 84 over the over its 165,000 participants were white. The participants who were vaccinated with doses of Pfizer, Moderna, and Australians Zeneca and Johnson and Johnson. Nobody talks about that anymore. I wonder why.
Yeah,
According
yeah,
to
not at all.
right, yeah, not at all. According to the post-vaccination change, menstrual cycles lasted less than a single day. But those who had both doses of the vaccine experienced up to 2 days difference on average, appeared to return with their baseline with their next cycle. So, in other words, it was a lot heavier for people who've had both vaccines. Um, but if you're experiencing that, definitely talk to your doctor. I am not a doctor, unless Dr. Williams would like to pop one up or add her 2 cents. I am not a doctor. I would just suggest that if you are experiencing heavier bleeding periods, since you have had both, then you might want to check with your doctor and just, you know, talk to your physician and see what's going on. But
Yeah.
definitely something to pay attention to and not to ignore. All right, all right.
You want to
Any
try
thoughts on
something?
that? Hmm.
Well, it was to be expected
Yeah,
because it hadn't been tested anyway. So
right.
if a little extra or heavier flow,
Mm,
and compared to other things that people are going to, like I said, it was to be expected.
right.
Yeah. Y'all, you want to try something real quick?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Okay. Going to share that screen, not the first one that you see with
Okay, this
the
second
blue
one.
symbol.
The second one.
The second one.
Okay.
This one is in reference to monkeypox. You don't see
Okay.
it. You haven't seen or heard too many black people saying anything about it, if at
Right.
all. It's been mostly white gay males.
Right.
And this young man has monkeypox. He's black
Mm,
and in the hospital
mm.
because I guess he had such a adverse reaction to the
Mm.
whole thing. So we're going to try to play the clip. It actually I had to break it up into two parts. It's not
Okay.
that long. It's a couple of seconds. So it's that second one.
Okay. So it's this one with the face on it.
Yes.
Okay. I'll add it to the stream. Let's see how it goes.
Everybody that it is 100% real. It is not fake. None of that. I'm not covering my face and I'm not putting on a mask because of it. I'm in a isolated room, double doored it, so nobody's getting anything right now. When the nurse come in, I'll put on a mask, or if the doctor come in, I'll put on the mask. But they already have their mask on, and they double geared up as well. As far as contact tracing, they asked me where have I been, and I told them that I went out this weekend, what club I went to, and stuff like that. But I literally have not done anything or went nowhere else besides where I normally go or do. That's what's crazy. And Monday till the time I got in the hospital, I was in the house pretty much.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, let me find this.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah.
It's the numbers are growing. Uh, they're not talking about it. I don't know why.
No,
Uh,
especially among us.
right,
Like I said, I've only seen white
right.
faces.
I've seen right. The last video I seen today of somebody was of a white male. He had it like on his lips and around his mouth and stuff. It
Yeah.
looked pretty gross. But
And this is the second portion of that clip.
okay, and I'll play the second portion right now.
Just want to let everybody know that I am almost healed up. These lesions have started scattering up. My eye is starting healing. This is appointment on it, so please don't pay no attention. My immune system is busy monkey, so make this the first priority. So now it's starting to, catch up. But yeah, the doctor said I should be able to go tomorrow, and that I won't be contagious anymore. A lot of you have been asking what have I been eating, so I'm gonna show y'all. Every morning when I order breakfast, I pretty much just order some cereal, 2 things of fruit, some apple juice, and some milk. Simple, because I didn't have appetite. Now I got an appetite, but they don't have me on a strict diet, and that's pretty much what I've been eating every morning. As for lunch and dinner, it's always been a ham sandwich, some fruit, some apple juice, some more fruit, some other fruit. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been eating. And it's those 2 meals every day. Yesterday, my friend did drop me off chicken, so I do appreciate her for that. So shout out to Shay. There go the chicken she brought me, and I razzle dazzle smash that shit last night, and it was so good. Yeah, besides that, I pretty much got my appetite back. Things are healing up. I have to be home tomorrow. As far as quarantining, I just need to quarantine over the weekend and the rest of this week, of course. And I'll go back to work on Monday. Yeah, so I'm pretty much happy about that. My eye should be healed up soon, hopefully. I don't I drop shit. Pretty much, don't ask me because I don't know.
Mm.
Hope I answered questions. Any other questions I did not answer is because I don't have answered the questions, and y'all can look them up online. I hope everybody is staying safe, washing their hands, and doing what they need to. do to make sure that they do not end up in the hospital like me. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for everybody that's been praying for me. I really appreciate.
All right. And that was part 2 of the episode. Prayers go out to that young man who's dealing with that. But my question, I guess, just an observation. I know they asked him like the places he's gone, but since they're trying to gear this towards a sexual transmitted disease, I was wondering if they had asked him about any sexual contact that he's had.
I think he had mentioned that in the very first one, but it was so choppy.
Okay.
He said he hadn't done anything, but you're in the club. Everybody's inhaling everything else. You're rubbing up against everybody else, and
right
how it is.
Right.
So, but he said that he hadn't had any sexual contact with anybody.
Right.
I just don't like the way that they're playing it out. But then they have to remember too, they're the ones that opened everything up to full capacity, even with the other thing that's going on.
Right. Exactly. Especially in those particular states in which it seems to be like popping off. So I don't know. That's why I was just curious. But
like I said, but before that, they were only showing white faces.
Right.
And that's all you would see. You would never hear anything about, except for the fact that they were doing what they did when the other virus popped up, and they were coming into black areas
to get the vaccine.
Not vaccines. So they were definitely doing that. They don't mind coming on down.
It's just crazy.
Doing their standard procedure.
Right. Very much so. All right. Like I said, prayers go out to the family of the young man himself for healing. But make sure, please, that we are protecting ourselves, washing our hands, keeping our precautions. If you're going to do what you do, wrap it up, be safe about it. But I mean, I don't. It's so much stuff out here. Why would you want to do anything at this point? But anyway. In some more news, judge has ordered DeWitt officer to stand trial for chasing and pulling a gun out on a black delivery man. A judge has ruled on Friday of last week that there was enough evidence for DeWitt officer to stand trial on charges of misconduct. This officer had literally chased a delivery person back in January 14th of 2021. The incident where an off-duty DeWitt officer, Chad Voice, is accused of following a Land State Journal paper delivery boy or person in his neighborhood. He pointed a gun at him and then pursued him to a nearby gas station where he again then pulled his gun out on him. So we shall see where this goes. Of course, this went totally under the radar a little bit. The young man was Alexander Hamilton. Ironically,
okay.
A 19-year-old delivery boy who had a gun pulled out on him. The assistant district attorney, Sean Ryan, said on Friday that the defendant had never been followed before and never had a gun pull out on him, and then he went to the gas station, I guess, to get help or to try and get somebody to call the police, and that officer again followed him to the gas station and pulled out a gun on him again. He finds his actions to be completely egregious, and he definitely stands by the judge's decision to allow that officer to stand trial for his actions. I mean, great. It should be happening. That could have went left real quick. I'm glad the young man is still alive. But there's harsher sentences that have to be handed down. How about we start taking some money from these mofos? I think that's the only way they're really going to stop this
Yeah.
level
Other
of
than that, they're not
force.
going to.
Other than that, they're not going to stop. Because it's like, okay, cool. They can even deal with a sentence, and they can sit in jail for a year and a half, because they know that once we stop talking about it, once the cameras start glaring towards the town or the city or whatever, they're going to do the back door, they're going to appeal, and they're going to get a lighter sentence or even get off. And by the time everybody realizes, oh, so and so got off, oh, that's crazy, they're already gone in some town that we don't know nothing about, trying to be or being a cop in some small town with a population of 5,000 folks. So the only way we can stop things like that happening, if we can't go after the police unions, which we should as well, start going after the officers and suing the officers, and let the officers pay these victims, and stop allowing the city and state and victims basically paying victims, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah.
Yeah, this guy went out of his way. Now he's
Yeah.
an officer. He's an
Well,
officer in another district, and he approached this guy twice.
he was
And
off duty at the time. It was like, you're not even an officer. Why couldn't you have called in your local officer from where you were and say, hey,
thank you.
blah, I saw this guy, and left it alone and let them handle it? No, you literally pulled your gun out on this young man, and then chased him down to the nearest gas station where he was going to try and find help to get away from you. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know if I want to read this one, but excuse me. A police chief in Mississippi, was fired on Wednesday of last week after a leak recording came out showing him bragging about killing 13 people in his line of duty and using the N-word repeatedly, including describing one black person. The white man says he shot at least 119 times. I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I really don't even know what to say. I mean, I laugh not in funny, but just like, who is surprised at this? But the same people that feel like there's nothing wrong with the way police are policing. It's a culture of hatred. It's a culture of bigotry. And it's not just in police. It is in every bit of law enforcement there is. You can go as high as the Secret Service guarding the president, and you can go as low as your local police chief in whatever state you name the state. There's not a state that I know of that anybody can say, oh, there's no corruption here of people being mistreated because of the color of their skin. It is
America is not a racist country.
Yeah.
Sure, Tim Scott.
Yeah, sure, Tim Scott and our current vice president.
And yes, Kamala Harrison.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely not. I think it's ridiculous that we even have this discussion back and forth with people that something needs to be done. And speaking of that, I'll just jump to this one because it just made me, after that story, jump to this one. President Biden continues to taunt to fund the police amidst community safety and concerns in Black neighborhoods. The president strikes a balance in his remarks on the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives on crime and policing ahead of the midterm elections. I just think this is totally not the right move. He should have the Justice Department really paying attention and looking into. Granted, they have a lot to do with looking into January 6th and all that other bullshit, but truth be told, we already know what was trying to go down, what was about to go down. There is nothing new there. But your focus needs to be on all these police stations, the police unions, you need to be the law enforcement. The head of law enforcement needs to be cracking down on them. All of this, talk of funding the police. They have enough funding. Too much funding.
Too much funding.
Too much funding. There is not enough. There's so much funding you could, run a whole country off the amount of funding.
Yeah.
These police unions and departments get. So I think that definitely needs to be the way he goes about it. I'm really confused as why it's always geared towards the Black communities having the most violent problems or anything of that nature.
Because that's where all the violence is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have fooled me because I've seen a lot of schools, a lot of children shot up. But yeah, all the violence are in the inner city neighborhoods. Yeah, okay, great. And again, I think some of that is orchestrated through
of course.
to make sure it keeps this theme going.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
You have to keep perpetuating the lie.
Right. So, sometimes like the saying goes, skin folk ain't kinfolk. And we have to realize that too. So there are people, in my opinion, there are people that get paid to help perpetuate the lie and help keep things going. So if that means you got to have a shooting every weekend, then there's a shooting every weekend. You're trying to figure out, well, what are they shooting about? What's the purpose of this? You mean to tell me somebody just randomly, they're talking about defunding the police. Next time you wake up next weekend, it was a wild out shooting spree all weekend. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
But
but then you suppress the news that's coming out of the white areas because it's just as bad.
Right. But then we won't even talk about the news that's coming out the white areas. We'll talk about them when it's newsworthy. Like, a school shooting. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. How many of those have you had? And still no policing. Still no metal detectors in your schools. But they're in our schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely don't. We don't have their problems.
Right.
I have yet. Thank God, I haven't yet to hear one.
Right.
Especially not on just to the caliber of the amount of people that have been injured.
So Black nursing home residents, are more likely to need hospital care. This came out Friday from the Health Daily or the Health Day News that Black residents in United States nursing homes are more likely than white residents to be repeatedly transferred to hospital care. The new study reports that Black nursing home residents are likely to be transferred to hospitals and back at least 4 times in a given year, according to data gathered under the U.S. Center of Medicare and Medicaid. All right. So nursing homes residents younger than 65, which have been shown to fully code or life-saving status, are opposed to those who are assigned to DNRs. Studies results show that the results suggest that nursing homes might not be doing all that they can for certain residents to prevent hospitalization. I mean,
they don't. If you've ever had to take care of somebody that needed 24-hour care,
exactly, yeah,
it's better if you can get somebody to come into your home.
Right.
And now they're actually. You see that a lot more, and even actually paying family members to
be trained, right? Even other family members go into training,
and they will pay them, and they will pay them to do so.
Yeah, the study had shown between 2017 and 2019, more than 1,400 Missouri nursing home residents were transferred to the hospital at least once a year, according to data from the Missouri Quality Intensive. And let's see. And in 8 years, that program had cost them $35 million to fund. So, but who's flipping this bill is what I'm curious about.
We're talking to them. you know how that shit go.
Yeah, and then you wonder why people are losing their homes and things of that nature because they're
Oh yeah, it takes a
money market.
Definitely takes a big cost and a big cut out of your home budget.
Okay, where did the rest of this go? GOP lawmaker, and some other news, Glenn Thomas had attended his son's gay wedding last week, 3 days after opposing a bill in the U.S. House that would enshrine the protections of same-sex marriage into federal law. CNN had confirmed that Thomas's office said in a statement that the Pennsylvania congressman and his wife were thrilled to attend the nuptials and were very happy to welcome their new son-in-law into the family. This is what I tell you. These people are so gung-ho on pushing this shit, and a lot of them don't even believe it, but they'll push it to get the vote of the people.
Even against their own interests and their family interests.
And their family interests.
I thought that was a real good example. That one was a real good example.
Right. If not for
nothing. Here you are right at the top of the game, and you're actually voting on it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then you turn right around and go to your son's wedding.
To say, yay.
What a gift. What a gift. Thanks, Dad.
Right. Right.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks a lot.
Right. And while you at it, fuck your marriage.
That's right. I mean, what are you saying? What are you saying?
Like, who's flipping the bill for this shit? You are. And you're like, and if you are flipping the bill for this wedding, that's even the extra slap in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you paying for it, and then you're going to tell your son, fuck your life. Bing bong. I really don't get it. I really don't get these people. I swear I don't. I don't get them, and
it's a cult, man. It is a cult.
People follow blindly and just be so with the shits. It's ridiculous to me. I really don't get it because they all don't believe the shit that they be talking about. Look at Josh Hawley last week showing his ass running out of the Capitol, putting his old fist up. Now, see, nobody canceled him for putting his fist up, but I remember some young black athletes who put their fist up, and they were trying to take they're taking their medals away from them. They actually took their gold medals away from them for a while before returning them. Yeah, but nobody canceled Josh Hawley for putting his fist up, and then the same fist he put up to support the protesters who were standing outside of the Capitol during January 6th, the same ones he was hauling ass from when they broke into the bitch and was ready to scalp his ass too. Yeah, he was running faster than some of the Democrats running out that bitch to try not to get caught. Just full of shit. These people are ridiculous. They really are. Speaking of full of shit, though, Portland will pay $55,000 in a settlement brought by reporters over the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests. Look at that, look at that, look at that. So two independent journalists who filed an excessive force lawsuit against the Portland police will receive $55,000 in a settlement from the city. The Associated Press reported that when the suit was filed in July of 2020, they had asked for $1 million from the city, and the city was like, nope. But this is, of course, due to they were there reporting and they got arrested during the Black Lives Matter protest demonstration that they were streaming live. So originally they requested $1 million and they got worked down to 55.
Shit. Give me my million.
Right. That's what I said. But according to the Associated Press, however, they noted that Portland had paid over 335,000 in 2021 to settle a related lawsuit involving the police. So they've been paying out the ass. Good old Portland got money.
Yeah, I was going to say. I guess that there won't be no parades and no holiday cheer this year.
Right.
Because they done gave out everything. They won't have any goddamn money left.
They won't have a dime left. Not a dime to their name. Poor Portland.
Which is kind of strange. It's like they are like to the extreme. Maybe because they're so far away.
Yeah. No.
They are like really the extreme. I'm like, God damn. You take over a whole damn part of the city.
Right. A whole
for what, 6 months? The whole thing. Right. Everybody else that went back in the house. You still out there burning stuff.
Out there burning shit. Got white moms out there talking some Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm. I'm just sick of it all.
Right. Burn this shit down. You're like, okay, Karen. I guess. Yeah. In other news, of course, last week we talked about it. Secret Service investigators. There's 10 Secret Service personnel who they're looking into that have erased data from their phones. A lot of the talk in the media is that the data on the phones may not be that important. I'm like, well, if it wasn't that important, why the hell did they delete it? So it's got to be something on there, or something to the extent where they were either planning to do something to aid this coup attempt or something. For me, I just don't see them just deleting it just to be like, oh, we deleted it, even though we had been ordered not once but twice not to delete any information. So I'm just a bit like,
yeah, but to me. But like I told you last week, when they said that it was deleted and they couldn't recover it, I said, yes, they can. They can recover it, and they have, because especially if you're communicating with multiple people, those packets of information are now on everybody's phone. Right. That was on that list. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they were able to find it, but then you have to look at the big picture. Right. Who's covering up?
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Because
who's covering up?
Out of the 24 agents of personnel under scrutiny, only 10 Secret Service personnel agents had no text messages, and 3 only had personal records, according to sources.
Now, you know, if they were if they knew something was going to go down, they should have broke out the cricket phone.
Right,
you know
exactly. Or been on WhatsApp or something.
No, you can't even do that now because everybody's wise to that.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody is wise to that. Should have went on taking the ass on down there to Walmart. And got that little burner phone.
Oh,
do what you got to do.
Crazy. I heard about this story and then you sent it to me, so it would like to get your thoughts on this one. The woman's job application rejected until she applied under a different name and race. They tested a theory. This African American woman applied for a job using her name and was denied. She checked the Black African American and she put in her actual name. She was denied. Her name is Naturi Green, if I'm saying that right. Naturi Green. She's in Charlotte, North Carolina. She applied at Target, for those of you who...
And they have the nerve to be selective like that.
Yes, right.
That's what got me.
This is when they're going to say, it wasn't us, it was the management of that particular store. Green was rejected multiple times. Not once, not twice, but multiple times from Target over the past few years, according to insiders. Then, jokingly, she tried putting her name down as Tori, a more white-filled version of her name. She changed her ethnicity to mixed race. And Green said after that, Target finally offered her a job interview. and she recapped it on TikTok, nearly receiving 300,000 views. Let's see if they see what Target says. Okay, and Target's previous lawsuit, insiders, Target had previously faced multiple claims of discrimination hiring practices, which have resulted in legal settlements, and vowed to change their hiring procedure. Excuse me.
It looks like they're going to be sending out some more money too.
Right. More than 20 years ago, Kalisha White, who is black, was suspended. Her application was suspended. Or was she suspended? What? Suspended her application. Oh, they suspended her application from a Target job in Wisconsin. Okay. She was being ignored because she felt like she was being ignored because of her race. She sent in another under a different name of Sarah Bucker, and she scored an interview. The fake resume had less credentials than the fake resume had less credentials, less education, and everything else that she actually had, and she was able to score an interview. The Equality of Employment Opportunity Commission, a federal agency that enforces civil rights law, including hiring practices, and Target on behalf of white and 3 other black job applicants, resulted in a $510,000 settlement. Yeah, and in 2015, Target also paid $2.8 million.
People just throwing money away.
Yeah.
Why can't they just throw some stacks on me?
That's crazy. And
I'll be your private dancer.
Let's see, a few years later, after that time, they paid $3.74. So Target's been paying. So you wonder why it's so expensive in Target. Them bitches gotta pay people. That's
right.
So yeah, now we get it. Target is expensive because Target pays out.
Yeah, more ways than one.
Right. Go ahead. Your thoughts?
But you, well, especially nowadays, you know that when you apply online or you use their kiosks, that you go through a filtering system.
Right. Yeah.
So that's automatic. So of course your name is flagged.
Right.
Your age.
Right.
Your race.
Right.
And even your sex.
Yep.
So it's not surprising.
I'm sure they even flag it from schools too. At this point, I'm sure if they flag it and they get a historically black college, it's I don't think compared to if you put one of their mayonnaise bread schools, I'm sure they'll some go through more than others. Again, here we are, not surprised.
But what would have happened?
What's going on?
Hey, stranger. Yeah,
my Target application.
Yeah, that's right. You need some money. Why work during the Christmas holiday? Just let them discriminate against you.
Right.
You'll get paid.
Right.
Big time. But see, she wouldn't. Now the funny part is, if she'd put her application in, she went in and had the interview and all of that fun stuff. She would not. They wouldn't have hired her, or they would have let her go later on, saying that she lied on her application.
Right. Exactly.
So, but I remember telling y'all that story where back in the day. What's that?
She said pocket change, a little pocket change.
No, that's why you go for big bucks. Because now you're crushed and you've always wanted to work in retail. Retail sucks. It's actually rewarding, but those were the days gone by where cradle to grave companies, it was actually fun. But remember, I was telling you about this story. I used to be a sales rep, and it would be nothing for us to fax our resumes in. And my government name is so vanilla that they often thought that I was white.
Okay.
And then too, they would interview over the phone.
And
until I go, until I go to a regional meeting,
right,
and I'm the only one there,
right,
and you can tell by the look on their faces, like,
yeah. Oh my God,
who are you?
who are you?
You're
Good?
who? And I would get that all the time. The first couple of times that happened, you just kind of poo-poo it off.
Right.
But then it's like it happened all the time.
Right.
So they're definitely looking, especially these names now, the names today, but everybody's naming their kids whatever. But see, it's okay for you to name if you're white, you name your kid Rainbow or Sunflower
Rainbow
or
blanket
Apple.
or or just stuff that you like. What? What? How do they expect to get?
And the spelling.
Yeah.
The spelling used to get me all the time, and I would always ask people. I would ask people to pronounce your name for me, just to be,
I'd be like, could you spell that, please? Because I don't want to even check that out, because that's just crazy. But yeah, that really always made me, as in the words of City Hall, make you go, like, it's like how white folks can freely, just give their children any type of name, and it's like, oh, it's just da-da-da. And there's no kind of
that's cute.
There's no thought of what this might bring in the future for their employment and things of that nature. And however, we still go through this where names that may be unique to culture and unique
especially
to
after watching an episode of Roots, everybody gets
something. You know what I'm saying?
That stuff starts again.
Or even just being that in touch with you might have went back to Africa and done all this, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this to celebrate my culture, my being who I am, and then you apply for a job, or your child applies for a job and doesn't get the job because of this shit. It's just absolutely crazy.
It is, but I remember my parents saying that's why we gave you, just normal, really nothing names. Then we fucked you up on your middle names because payback's a bitch.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's especially like after Roots.
Yeah,
where people were just pretty much, giving their kids anything. They were just making up shit.
Yeah.
Not
making up shit.
Yeah, making up shit. I know this girl, her father's name is Eugene, her mother named her Eugenia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you get that name, right?
He was the first.
Like, well, my father's name is Eugene.
Yeah.
Righty.
Yeah, right. Because she was the firstborn woman.
She's the first. She was the firstborn or whatever. It's like,
that's
okay. Ask me where she is now.
Right.
But anyhow.
Anyway, on to some Black Power magic. I don't know if it's Black Power magic or just kind of more of the same. Like, we'll give you some stuff, make you look nice, but we ain't gonna really give you what you're asking for. Yeah. The U.S. Senate is expected to confirm Marines first. Let's say that again. The Marines first 4-star general. First. In 35 years. Okay? 35 years, the U.S. Marine Corps Lieutenant General Michael Langley is set to be the first Black general to achieve one of the branch's highest rankings. The U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee on Thursday held the confirmation hearing for Langley, who is nominated in the commander of the U.S. Africa. Okay, the U.S. Africa Command, which oversees the nation's military presence in Africa. Why not just put a dashiki on now and just call it? Go get the kente cloth, the kente oil, and just
because I sing an old spiritual, old Negro spiritual on the steps.
Yes, and sit what they put on your knees, do our whole sit on our knees and pray and hold hands and sing kumbaya and we
Let's see these
shall
motherfuckers
overcome.
get down on their knee again and try to get back up. And they were struggling.
Some people end up dead. I don't get it. But yeah. So his present station is in Africa. If the Senate confirms, he will be the Marines' first black 4-star general in the Marines' 246-year history.
Yes, we shall
73.
overcome. You won't get no copyright strike, will you? If I sing that, we shall overcome.
It don't even matter at this point. 73 white men have reached the 4-star rank. 73 white men, and he is the first. And yet we can sit here and say this is not a racist country, or that again, law enforcement in all of its branches, because this is one of them, are not racist. The fuck out of here.
It's in everything.
It's in everything.
It's like plastic. It's in everything. Everything. And then it starts to show itself, as you start having adverse reactions to stuff.
Yeah.
And men's sperm count starts dropping.
Right. In other news that and I wrote this to you earlier when you sent me this story. This whole damn DA needs to be thrown in jail. People that need to be thrown in jail for 2022 on to 2023, that old bitch, the Emmett Till shit, and the DA lady from this shit, all of them need to go to jail. So the 16 that was charged in the Central Park 5 case was exonerated, or is to be exonerated.
I had forgot there was either.
Right. We talk so much about the 5.
About the 5, there was
a 6. There was a 6th young person. Stephen Lopez will be exonerated on Monday after being bullied by investigators to plead guilty. And again, this is the system that is completely broken, and they refuse to do anything about it or to hold any of these people accountable. You had these children in jail for years, and we're just supposed to sit here and go, oh, well, sorry, and go on about our business. But again, I'm not surprised. The same thing that this white woman lied on this little boy who was killed, murdered, mangled. And all we're going to say is, well,
this week was actually his birthday.
This week was his birthday. It was the 25th. Was this young kid's birthday? The lack of respect we have for black and brown bodies in this country is ridiculous, and yet you keep trying to tell us that there is no racism or that you can overcome these things and become greater people. Yeah, to what extent? Till you feel threatened, and then it's fuck your life, because it just doesn't make any sense. That none of these people who caused all this, none of these investigators who forced these children to plead guilty, the prosecutor who, to the highest extent of the law, was trying to push for their death penalty, not only her, but the fucking president that y'all just, who won't leave, who still thinks he's president.
Yeah, the wrong one died.
Right.
We need to be more specific.
Right.
God always tell you, ask for exactly what you want. We just kept saying Trump.
I think they pushed her ass down the steps, you tell me, because I just think she's been the gatekeeper of all the secrets and the money and everything.
You think so? You see that staircase?
But I'm just like, you've been there for days. You mean to tell me there's nobody there to check up on you? And you work
at that age, and that
house, and you mean to tell me that house don't have an elevator?
No, she wasn't cleaning it.
But this is what I'm saying.
She wasn't. She wasn't cleaning that house. So
right.
She had to have a housekeeper.
That's what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. You have housekeeping. You have people that come in and out. So nobody was there for them couple days. You just there chilling by yourself.
Yeah, you was chilling, all broke up at the bottom of the steps. God. We meant Donald. Right. Donald Trump. We just kept saying Trump, and they just took
Right.
one.
Right. I think he did it too.
You say Trump did it?
I just, hey, I'm with you, Patty Duke. I think he did it too, because she knows everything. She never lost a dime. She's been living in that townhouse, that $1 million+ townhouse, since they divorced.
Mm-hmm. And she done had three.
He got most of the
three
money.
husbands.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, where was it? Well, I guess she's divorced now from the last one, but he was relatively. No, he died. I think. I don't know. White people's problem.
Yeah. It's white people craziness, but yeah, I think he did it. I think he did it. Damn it.
Yeah, but that staircase looked like it hurt.
Yeah, hurt
all the way.
You know what it reminded me of? Remember that movie? Is it Death Becomes Her? Where they was like,
oh yeah, and that's probably how she looked too. Because you know that motherfucker was folded like paper. She was folded like paper.
Yeah.
arm all up in
there.
Right. And she wasn't voguing.
Right. She wasn't voguing at all.
That shit was folded up. Just like a
and she was there. Right. And she was there for days. Lord knows they had to break some bones.
Oh yeah.
Well,
he said she was married to number 3. Yeah, they were relatively young. He might have done it. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm thinking Donald did it because Donald needs money at this point. Donald needs money, and she is the gatekeeper.
Yeah, but he wouldn't get anything from her anymore.
Who said? Not if he has an insurance out on her, or if
it's one that we don't know of.
Right.
Which wouldn't be hard.
That's what I'm saying. He's still, been paying her whatever, like something. Mm-hmm. I just feel like there's something to it. Like there's something more to it. I'm just hoping that there is a
Donald gave us he bought us some new slippers, slippery ass bottom slippers. Slid her ass down them steps. You know how you get them slippers? They're real slippery and shit.
I got you some spirit steppers. Right into the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Swoop. Yeah. But
yes, Lord. Those steps, they had to be marble.
Marble, yeah, they're
marble. If you slip and fall, hit your ass, you done broke your tailbone. They look painful.
I'm not good.
She was so proud of that stair. She was so proud of that staircase too.
That whole townhouse.
Sure did. Donald said, I had some extra MAGA slippers left.
I bet you they sell it. I bet you it sell real quick. Because I'm sure I'm sure. Trust, as crooked as that man is, I don't put nothing past him at this point. Not a goddamn thing. I think he had somebody push her ass. Think that he had the Secret Service go over there and slightly swoosh her ass down the steps. All right. So other great news. Former NFL / MLB star Bo Jackson paid for Uvalde's victim's funeral, which I thought was great. Awesome. Good job. Cool for him.
I don't know, because your tone changed up. I was waiting for you to say something else.
Oh, no. I was about to go on Governor Hot Wheels, like how you don't show up.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't show up at all.
He didn't show up to none of the funerals, but that's cool. I'm glad that Bo Jackson, everybody loves Bo. Yeah. Actually paid for those funerals of the victims. I think that was a nice gesture, but yeah, my thing averts to the governor. Like, regardless of your party affiliation, those are still your constituents, whether they voted for you or not. They live in the state. That's your people. That's just crazy. That is really crazy. And the fact that he won't have any recourse because of that, or may not have any recourse because of that come election.
That's okay. They won't be able to vote anyway because they won't have no fucking power.
Well, that's what he's banking on too. I'm sure he is banking on that. But in other powerful black news, and I love this black person here. Oprah ain't got shit on this person here. Oprah may have more money than this person, but this person does far more for the community and buys up shit of impact than Oprah ever could. Byron,
he's quiet about it.
Quiet about it. Byron Allen, who is also suing Comcast And it's still in the battle with Comcast that is on its way to this. It's at the Supreme Court, but they haven't ruled on it yet. Byron Allen bought Black News Channel for $11 million. For those of you who don't know, the Black News Channel was going under.
Oh, it done went under. Yeah. I used to like it too.
Yeah.
The only thing is the commentary. I really like something more straight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily want to hear too many, because we have so many people giving their opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to hear just the straight news and just let us draw
what
we can. But it was only on YouTube for what, about 6 months?
Yeah, only on YouTube for a couple of months, and then
but I enjoy it because sometimes I get tired of rolling. He's getting kind of big-headed now.
Yeah, I mean, but you can hear it in his commentary, and then it's the way he talks. It's just like, first of all, it's not about you. It's not about you, sir. I get it. Like you've gathered the resources and done the work to get here. Great, congratulations. But it is not about you. It's not for you to now, because you have somewhat of a voice, to now make people gravel towards you and pay homage to you and all this kind of stuff in order for you to then have them on your platform. No, it's not what you should be doing, sir.
But if you notice also in his commentary is his panelists, it's starting to sound like regular YouTubers.
Yeah.
Because they're cursing and everything. Yeah. They don't have that standard of professionalism, which I expected a little better from them, these people that have these college degrees and paper and all the rest of that.
Well, because I guess what they're trying to then give is a different type of news that is more realistic, I guess.
Yeah, well, he needs to have certain words. You need a certain censorship because now they've gotten to the point where they're saying fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could say damn.
Right.
I've even heard shit. Shit. Shit and fuck.
Every time you say shit, it makes me laugh. I don't know.
What shit?
That's the way you say it. It's like shit.
Shit. Yeah, but it is. I mean, and he's like fucking whatever. Because I remember the first time I heard it on there was one of his panelists, and she's just got so emotional about it, and that should have been that one time, and the only time. But now it's like they've really gotten comfortable with it, and it sounds like the regular stuff that's out here.
Well, maybe it was because of the, because a lot of people do stuff like that once they start to see the numbers climb, and then it's like, I've even heard the white guy. I can't think of his name. He's the little white guy. He does his little commentary just behind the white things. His shirt. He usually wears a suit and tie or whatever. But what's his name?
Oh, is it like the gray suits, real slim guy?
Yeah.
He actually cursed?
Yeah, yes, he's cursing now.
Oh, okay.
So I just think it's, when they see the boost in numbers or, the influx in subscriptions due to the different type of commentary that they give or the different style, they run with it. Because I've heard a few of his kind of giving commentary on a lot of the politicians and things, and he was cursing. And I was like, they got you cursing too? Oh, okay, I guess. If it works for you. But for those of you who don't know Byron Allen and the Allen Media Group, this man makes money. He owns the Weather Channel and some other channels. He is still in a $45 million. Was it $45 million battles? No, I don't know how much that lost that lawsuit between him and Comcast. I know it's a lot. Yeah, I'll find it. But yeah, he's in a battle right now with Comcast. But yeah, he owns quite a bit of things.
And you would never know it. I didn't know when he first announced that he owned the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
And he has all that. Like, and all of a sudden everybody's trying to block him.
He has his own money.
And I remember when he first started, he was corny.
Yeah, he was
on that
the late
one of
night
the variety
interview.
shows.
Yeah, I remember when he was doing the late night little interview things, where he was interviewing the stars that would come on in like the late nights on Saturdays.
Oh yeah, but even before that, it was some little This Is America, or whatever, and he was like one of the kids that would go out and interview the people out there.
Oh, okay.
He was real young then, and to see what he has become, and he spent his money well. Hey, you actually think Roland Martin wants to get back into mainstream?
Yeah, he does. He does.
I think he's past that now. I don't think.
No,
I don't think they'll have him back like that. So he definitely needed to make his own platform.
They do sometimes, but that is the reason why he does what he does. Because it kind of
Patty, that's right. He corny rich. You're right, because he always seemed real corny. It's like you looked at him on TV, it's like, I know that motherfucker ain't getting no play whatsoever. I don't know what his ministry is.
His money is getting him the Quan.
You say he's getting what?
The Quan. The Quan.
You definitely looked at him, and the brother said, "That motherfucker ain't getting no pussy." But anyhow, but he had to get pussy because now he got stacks and he can buy his own.
He can buy his own. Which I'm sure he did for a while.
I'm sure he did too, because I would too. I can buy all that I want. I'd have ice cream truck just right down the street.
I'm not even going with you. But if anyone is looking for me, other social media places, or if you have any news that you want to share, you can always DM me at these places. All right. And we are back, and we are back, and we are back, and we are back. Let's see. I mean, we can do the who said that, but I haven't been really paying attention to a lot of the stuff, so
I don't saying a lot, but but it has been
relatively quiet. But in a quick who said that? Go
ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Did everybody see the trailer for Wakanda Forever?
I saw it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but it wouldn't download for me, so I couldn't check it. That's why I was telling you. Nothing was, But it's nice. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. It was very emotional. I almost wanted to shed a tear.
I was getting ready to say, that's what I wanted to ask, because there are a lot of people crying.
It was very emotional. It was very emotional for me. It was almost like, wow. I don't know if it was the music. I think it was the music for me. But it was very emotional. Oh, you have it? Okay, cool. When we play it.
Did it show up? Because I can't see it.
Yeah, it did show up. It showed up.
Okay.
I see it. All right. Ready?
I don't know if it's choppy. It shouldn't be choppy. I don't know why. I think it's StreamYard.
We're about to find out right now.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry.
I think it's because he did. I felt emotional.
Yeah.
Little darling, don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. Good friends we have, and good friends we know. Along the way, in this great future, you can't forget your past.
Well, all right. So, so now
So
black and
wipe
black
the
black
tears.
and black and brown people gonna be fighting each other.
Fighting. I was surprised that they made Namor. I guess he mostly resembles South American, Brazilian.
Well, I didn't even know if they were doing that or if they were doing an Indian kind of
Yeah,
thing.
well, because they're all they're in that same
Yeah,
same group. You just break them up.
yeah.
But that in the Water Birth, if you're familiar with the character, the comic book, the
No.
character of Namor he will remind you of a Mr. Spock. He had pointy
Okay.
ears. He was white.
Like an avatar looking thing?
No, he just reminded you like of the Mr. Spock character. Dark
Okay.
hair, dark straight
Yeah.
hair. His features were sharp. His coloring was that of just a tanned white person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had paid attention, probably you'll have to run it back and look at in the birth scene in the water. His ankles, Namor has little wings on his ankles. The comic book character actually has little wings because he's able to jump out of when he's swimming in the water. He's able to come out of the water and get airborne.
Oh, okay.
To a certain extent, and then back into the water. So I was glad that they kept that in there also. But I'm glad they kind of use like if you look at his headdress and everything, that's kind of Aztec.
Ish kind of
vibe and everything, which is good. So there'll be a lot of people. There was a lot of black people and brown people employed making that movie.
Yeah, which is always nice.
Patty, I haven't been to the movies in 2 years either. If I can't snatch it off of here, fuck it. I still got a problem. And you know what made it really bad in the movies? They had just remodeled all these theaters because they all had new seating, and you have to pick your seating and all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah, and
I'm still not kind of thrilled about sitting in a room with a whole bunch of fucking strangers on you. So I don't know. I might have to bite the bullet. I don't know because it gave me warm, goosebumpy feelings. But it was kind of emotional. With that. And I'm interested in seeing too many Jeremy folk. Yeah. And I'm trying to ask myself, is it worth me getting a Pac? And I ain't talking about a Tupac, but a Pac or a Roe, okay? But I'm interested in seeing who's going to be the next Panther.
Yeah.
In the comic book, it becomes his sister for a short time.
Okay.
But in the Marvel universe, anything goes. Even when characters are killed, they bring them back. They come back as other characters, or they come back kind of like soap opera type type of thing where so and so comes in town, they don't know who they are or whatever. So pretty much you can do anything you want to. So I'm really interested in seeing who's going to be the next Panther, because his sister, though she's intelligent, she just doesn't physically fit. I'm thinking Okoye, the general. Okay. I'm thinking her. But then you have to see that one scene where Angela Bassett says her whole family's gone.
Right, that's
makes you wonder how much they've actually changed it, because they haven't the Marvel universe as far as the comic books is totally different from the Marvel Corporation. They've changed a lot. Okay. So they're not following everything to the T as far as the storylines, but the characters are pretty much true to themselves.
Okay, I can take that.
But it's good now, and I love to see when all the little kids would go to see this movie and really get into it.
Right.
I really enjoy that too.
Yeah.
They say with monkeypox you are going to the theater with you're gonna have to need a goddamn hazmat.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to eat. I don't want to have to eat with plastic gloves to eat no nuggets. Well, I wouldn't be able to afford them anyway because that shit's probably expensive as hell.
Yeah.
It was expensive as hell beforehand.
Yeah, I can imagine. You better be going to have your stuff in your hazmat suit.
Oh, you used to sneak our stuff. You used to just go to the store and pick up our junk and take
My
it on
mother-
in there. Wonder why it smelled like sub. But now they have 4-course meals. You couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, 4-course meals, drinks, and everything else. But yeah, years ago when we were younger, my mother would carry a whole
lunch
thing, and we'd be like, she's like, just pass it down.
Now, could y'all see the movie over as long as you go in? We would go in and we'd stay there all day long because we have 2 features and you could watch as many times as you want to. And it'd be nighttime by the time we come out. And we'd have lunch because she'd take lunch and everything else.
No, it was
those were the good old days. You definitely got your money's worth.
It was just the one hitter quitter growing up. But when we were, old enough to go by ourselves, we would come out of a movie and sneak into another.
Sneak into the next one.
And do that for a bit and then be like, all right, we gotta go home. But yeah, those were
that's right, girl. Ain't nothing like a sandwich out of a purse.
A tote bag. No, they have a big old beach tote bag. It'd be like before, they started having shootings like at Green Acres and all that kind of stuff. It was like they wasn't checking your bag or nothing like that. My mother would have a whole bunch and dare somebody. You dare go about.
That's right.
Whoop your ass. But yeah, she would have tons of stuff. I mean, and all of like our friends would, I want to go with you guys. And my mother, she really wasn't a fan of taking other people's kids.
No, because they're horrible. They're horrible.
She would take a few with us or whatever. We get in trouble for it later, but she would take it.
Yeah, don't you ask them no
right.
More. Used to get that one too.
Asking me. They don't ask if you could go. Like, I don't want to go with them.
They gonna share half your sandwich and your chips.
Right. I don't want to go with them. I've seen what the house look like.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Right.
Seriously.
I'm okay with them not asking me. Believe. Yeah. So, but yeah, those are the days. But definitely check it out if you can when it drops. Actually, what came out? Nope. I haven't seen it yet. So
I haven't seen it either. No.
Yeah. So I look forward to seeing that. I did watch Black Phone. Not what I thought, but it was okay. I'll watch it again.
Because I'm scouring these internets. Because motherfucker don't think he's supposed to pay for shit.
Right.
So y'all, if one day I don't show up, y'all know my ass is locked up the feds and got my ass.
I'm doing the community a service by pre-screening. It's a pre-screen.
It's a pre-screener. That's
for
right.
the peoples.
What was the last one I got that? I'm trying to think. The last Jurassic Park.
I mean, all the other, like the first one, the second one, you had me. After all that, how many more dinosaurs?
There's only so much you can do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how many more dinosaurs gonna take over the world or gonna spread into, the nation can we have? I mean, now you practically living with them side by side, just about. It's like, okay, we're going a little bit far. But
you said Logan AR. You said Logan Paul had a lot to say about Nope.
Oh, did he?
You know what he reminds me of? What's his name? Peele, the director. Mm-hmm. He reminds me of that period where we had a lot of M. Shyamalan, or whatever his name.
Okay, yeah, right.
It's reminding me of that.
Speaking of Michael Shyamalan or M. Shyamalan, whatever. M. Shyamalan.
That man.
Yes. He has a show on Apple TV called The Servant.
Okay.
It's good. Weird, but good. Definitely check it out. Definitely nothing that I thought of. Even at first, I was like, "Well, get rid of the bitch," but then it just was like, whoa, like it was just really weird. It reminded me of like a little bit of Children of the Corn / the Others. What else? Single white female. It was like it's a lot.
White people running amok. What is this?
It's this is well, briefly, it's this journalist, right? She's very popular. Her husband is a popular chef type person. He does a lot of the food tastings for a lot of the restaurants in the city. And their baby winds up dying. But to help her cope, because she was losing her mind due to the death of their kid, her therapist, who's a friend of hers, they get this doll. And she really thinks that the doll is real. Right? So she's like, oh, get to the we got to get a nanny, we got to get a nanny. So that's how it starts. Like, we got to get a nanny, we got to get a nanny. And he was like, well, just hire somebody.
A nanny for the doll?
So, well, she doesn't know it's a doll. To her, it's a real baby. Real. Mm. So, when they do hire the nanny, she's saying something to the baby or whatever, and then
Chucky. Yeah, Chucky.
Right, and then the lady leaves. She's like, "Oh, I got to go leave to do the news or whatever." So she goes to get in the car because the car picks her up every morning. She leaves, and he's like, "You don't have to talk to it anymore." And I'm like, "Talk to it? What you talking about?" She's like, "You don't have to play. It's not real. You can leave. You can come back later when she gets off. Make sure you're back here by this time." And she's like, "No, I like taking care of so-and-so." And I'm like, "Oh, this shit's crazy. What the hell?" And as it goes on and on and on and on and on, things start changing. This thing starts becoming real. And I'm starting to like, am I losing it? Is it me? Because the doll, yeah, it's crazy. The doll starts becoming real. Then, yeah, it's just
white people and dolls. I'm done. I'm like UAR.
It's really crazy.
Dolls be running across the floor and all the rest of that.
But it's definitely good. Then she was hiding from some people, like some country people of the corn type people, and they sent her a letter and said, "We found you." That's all it said was, "We found you." The next
and I'd mailed him a letter back saying, "It's not me."
This man shows up at the door. Remember Poker Dice when the old man was like, "The God is in this holy temple," like looking all crazy. This man shows up to the door dressed like that, holes in his shoes, just real wet, like he's been like coming out the water or some mess. And he shows up knocking at the door like, "Oh, nice to see you." And first she looks scared, and then she's telling the people that it's her uncle, and he's like, "Well, she has to come back home." And they're like, "No, we love her here. She's a part of the family." And she's talking to her husband. We got to have her stay. We can't let him take her away. And so she finally is like, "No, I'm not going back with you." He was like, "All right, we'll see if you don't want to come back when your aunt comes to get you." And it's just like a whole crazy shit that it was like, wow. Yeah.
Hey, y'all, you making facial expressions. Probably saying, "Fuck that shit. You lost me past the dog."
No, but really, it really is good though. It really is good. It seems quirky and crazy because it is, but like if you really watch, you're like, "Oh, okay, this shit's crazy." But like I can't stop watching it because I want to know what's gonna happen next. But it is
everything.
Definitely crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. Let's see what else. Recently, I have been asked to be a part of the Kings with King Jives and the rest of his group. I usually always watch. To support and pop in and say hey. But he asked me to come up a few times because people were absent to kind of fill in the gap, and I didn't have nothing to do. And I was like, sure. But, thank you all for the people who have asked me to, or spoken to him to ask me to be a part of the show. So he asked and I accepted. And so that's where you'll see me on Friday nights on
Congratulations.
The Kings. So yeah.
Does this mean that you're Kojic now?
No. This does not mean I'm Kojic. I'm definitely
Baptist. I don't know.
Baptist. I am
holy nativity. I don't know.
I'm Baptist / Pentecostal to my core, and more Baptist than Pentecostal, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, no, but it is interesting. Thanks. Speaking of church, though, did you hear about
have fun with it?
I will. Did you hear about the guy that was held gunpoint in his church?
Yes, I saw the video of that, and I've heard and saw the fallout.
Right? Have you seen the?
Which was a bit much. I think it was kind of insensitive at such a. First, that happened Friday?
Right.
That happened Friday, and that's still fresh. So
yeah,
just the response of certain people. I think they should have waited to see how it played out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I also feel like even the victim. I guess.
What you wearing? What you wearing? A harness? What is that?
Yes. You know what? Don't do it. So even the victim,
got a dress for you. Never mind. Go
ahead. Even the victim, I think, the reaction to people giving their reaction, I think it was totally uncalled for. I think somebody who was truly traumatized by this situation would not be reacting in this way. They wouldn't even be able to listen or hear about people's thoughts and opinions of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be open for discussion.
Yeah, I don't even understand why you are even entertaining listening to people's opinions and views on what possibly happened. People are just giving their opinions on what they viewed.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when something like this, when anything goes viral, news media, the regular news media, especially if it has something to do with something they can dig into, they look in further into your past, into a history if you have one, and all that other stuff will come digging up. So yeah, when you start looking at that, you have a history of fraud and other things, people start to then go, well, wait a minute, and that's only it's only what it is. I mean, I just can't see it. I just don't.
You better. That chain you got around your neck, you better tuck it. You better tuck it.
People in the church were too calm for me for that to be a situation in which things were happening. Some people that may not have known, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I was going to say I would have.
It was very just like I just didn't get the whatever. But and then too, just the wearing of the jewelry. Like, I mean, what is that about? You are you the hip hop pastor? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know exactly what angle you were going with. Like, I mean, are you the new Reverend? Even Reverend Run, who's a part of Ron DMC, does not wear that giving ministry. I just didn't. I don't know. How you walking around in that type of jewelry, driving that car. What is that saying? But then the rest of it don't match. It's just too many questions for me. I just have questions.
But it's not surprising how the church is nowadays anyway.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. The church is a hustle. For people that hustle,
yeah.
The church is a hustle. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It is a hustle. A lot of people that if they're able to have the gift of gab and get a couple people to follow, they will hustle them out of their money.
I pretty much
They do
think
it all the
majority,
time.
I believe the majority of them
Majority of them, yeah.
because the church is no longer the church of our grandparents.
Right. It's not a place of community building and outreach and lifting up and places where, hey, if someone
and unifying our people against what we have to deal with, because you don't hear anything from them
no
concerning
community
what's going
board
on nowadays.
No community board activism or nothing. But as soon as somebody needs a vote, they'll hop their ass up in the church, and then all of a sudden we supposed to sit there now vote for brother so and so or sister so and so because they showed up in here and gave all this money into the offering plate. What for?
Yeah.
What for?
Oh, and like I was saying, that chain you have around your neck, you better take that shit off because somebody he'll come in here, snatch you and that little harness. You better watch out, boy.
Nah, not in here.
Protected. Yeah, but when he did you happen to catch when he Larry and this young lady?
Yeah, I did.
Call.
I did.
And the Larry and the young lady's conversation should have been in the back room. It should not have gotten out. Evidently the guy was able to see it.
Well, yeah, because they were on live.
Yeah,
they were on live.
Yeah, but conversation should have been held for later. I mean, their two discussions, not the guy, not Larry and the guy, but Larry and the girl that he was there with.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but my whole thing is, for me, the reason why it does not even look or feel to me altogether like it was something that really happened, because this man is trolling now to hear people's opinion on what has been posted. And that's just something that naturally, if you're dealing with a trauma, you're not focused on.
Yeah.
Not at all. You're not trolling
especially if somebody was supposedly holding
held
guns
at gunpoint
to his family,
to your family members and all this other kind of stuff. That's not what you're focused on. You're not looking at people who may be trending like a Larry Reed or other people to find out what they had to say about what happened to you. What does that matter? Why does that matter to you? It matters to you more because you're looking at what the opinions of the people are to kind of gauge how, did this work? Did this go over? Hopefully this went over. Because, of course, immediately probably people ran to, oh, my gosh, support, throw money at, to say, hey, we have your backing, da-da-da-da-da. Like somebody said.
Oh, believe me, that shit was insured.
Right. But this is the reality of it. One, if it was real, like jury or whatever, it was insured. So then, but when you look at the past of what you may have done, and granted, everybody's not their past and people can grow out of their past. That's not what I'm saying. But when you do something to this level and this degree, where first is $400,000 worth of jury, now we have reached $1 million worth of jury. Who's walking around with $1 million worth of jury in a storefront church? It's like it don't add up.
Yeah, now he's offering what, 50,000?
And he's offering 50,000 reward for knowledge about who did this, right? Then you're like, okay, well, cool. That's like somebody living in an efficiency driving a Range Rover. You're like,
no, what was this vehicle that they were talking about? I had to look it up because I had never heard of it. There's some sort of
Rolls Royce kind of coupe thing that he has, I think.
I don't know, but evidently Larry has the same thing and they have the same color. And it didn't dawn on me that they were talking about a vehicle, but that was within the first 10 minutes of their conversation.
Yeah, but what is that?
Their discussion. Yeah, but they're discussing. This what I'm saying is they're discussing material
things, right?
Thing,
Right. But this is my thing. Here you are in Brooklyn, and granted, every place has their violent places, but here you are in Brooklyn being flashy and thinking because you're a pastor, you may be popular in the neighborhood, that nobody's going to
you keep talking about these people. They'll send you to meet God personally.
Right. And nobody's going to hit you up. But then the weird part about this is that, okay, these people came in to rob just you out of a church full of folk. They just want to.
Because they knew you got all that money. You did the work for them. You took all your parishioners' money. They knew where to go to. What are you talking about? They were smart. They were slow, but they were smart.
It's just like, well, then why not hit up everybody? Why just hit up them, and leave everybody else? It didn't, And then with the camera moving, and then
that's what I was saying.
Oh,
he had already passed the plate, and you already had the money. That's what I was saying. So why even go from person to person when they go right for the one person that's standing up there? But I want to know who was the brother sitting in the back playing like a roach, because that motherfucker ain't never moved. He ain't never moved. He sat down there. I didn't even know he was sitting back there.
Nope. He never moved.
I thought he was part of that background that was up there. That shit was real. I was like, oh shit, that motherfucker alive.
But that's what I'm saying. Some people just never moved, as if they already knew what it was. That's my thing. It's like, granted, there's a bit of people being startled or stunned by a situation like that, but just like,
that's what he was
like, really, I don't want no parts of this. I'm gonna just sit back and chill. I ain't even gonna move because I don't want nobody to say I was involved in nothing. Because if you go down with this shit, I'm not going with you.
He broached on that ass. He did. If I don't look, they won't see me. I'm invisible.
I blend in. I am a chameleon. I am blending. Right. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I just, granted, if it did happen, prayers to the people, and hopefully the people behind it are found. But if this turns out to be something to either go viral or to get insurance money, because now one thing people don't understand about their wanting to go viral moment is that it opens it up a lot larger than just a situation and people talking about it and going away.
They'll really start digging into it.
Because then they start digging into it. Then if they really do find the culprits, they will investigate them. And if it comes to find out that you knew them or they knew you or there was some sort of agreement to do this, that whole thing is going down. And now that you included your relationship with the mayor in this, I don't know how this is supposed to look good for you in any way you turn it. It's just not going to look good, because if it happens to be that this did not happen, you included all these people as in people you knew, and thank you so much for paying attention. And now, of course, the news has already dug up that you have a relationship of kind of a dark, shady past with the mayor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It pulls out everything, all the dust.
Oh, right. So as much as you thought this was going to be a money grab, no pun intended, it may have turned out to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, and especially knowing the days and times that we live in, that you would be that flashy. You know that you put the target on your head yourself.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you walk around here with no security. Okay, in a flashy car. Okay. Granted, you don't see these rappers and stuff getting snatched, their jury and things getting snatched on stage or in a club, like whenever, where the point where they start hiring security just to protect themselves. And granted, I get it. We get in this whole kind of religious thing. Oh, God will protect me and keep me safe and all that. I get it. That's all great. But, again, if you want to practice the teachings of Christ was poor.
Yeah, but I tell you, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying, but watching him and Larry go at it, and like I said, within the first 10 minutes, they're discussing these vehicles and cloudy diamonds and stuff like that, and I'm like, let me turn this shit off.
Yeah,
it was just real crazy. And then I was trying to figure out what was who was the young lady and why is she in the discussion, because then they started going back and forth. me see. I don't think followers would care about it, but yeah, Christians are brainwashed. Well, we have so many cults going on.
Yeah, true, very cultish.
It's because we's in the end times, y'all.
Yeah,
We's in the end times.
how many times have we heard that?
I think this shit might be it this time. Because this shit getting real scary. On my ass is getting real old and scary.
No,
but at first I'd be like, global warming, whatever. I'd be going about them. Now I'm like, oh shit, them motherfucker hot as shit. I walked across the street, got sunstroke.
I mean, it's so hot even like in Europe, in the UK, where their asphalt, like their pavement for their streeting and stuff, is not equipped for really hot temperatures. Like it's melting. Literally, they're driving in the street and the asphalt is liquid. So I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's like I'm looking down here at the park. About 8 years ago, Baltimore City started putting all of their reservoirs back online because a lot of them were just ornamental type things, out of service, and they started dropping in underground storage tanks for their water. So they between people trying to poison the water system and knowing that we're going to end up having issues with water, period. What is the lake out west? Is it Lake Mead or whatever? That's like literally drying up.
I think isn't like Mead
it's connected with the Hoover Dam.
Lake Mead.
Yeah. I mean, never seen anything. And I don't know if you've noticed because you're out west, but the sunsets from all the fires are orange. Have you seen the sunsets and everything? The air quality we've had, along with the heat, we've had the
and the drought still.
Yeah, we had the air quality alerts and things like that going on. Our thunderstorms, they're so quick. They dump so much water. So, like I said, all this shit's getting.
Someone just passed from all that. I think I just saw a news flash today that someone has died from the amount of rain due to one of the storms. In the Midwest recently. So
some places are flooding.
Yeah,
I mean literally flooding.
Right. So it's real, and as much as people try to ignore it, like, oh, this shit ain't real, or climate change ain't real, or I'll be dead, before it affects.
Oh no, we might be doing some Mad Max shit.
Right, you might be. The Thunderdome is coming. Okay.
Oh, it's coming.
So I think we need to definitely start paying more attention to our environment because it's trying to tell you something, Chad. It's trying to tell you something.
Yeah, Molly, you in danger, girl.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you.
Pretty
you
much.
are in danger.
Run, Molly, run. But that's all I have.
Yeah. Have you watched P-Valley?
Yes, I've watched P-Valley. I've caught up, and I even watched last episode where everybody's talking about Uncle Clifford giving it to C Murder. Yes, I saw it. I mean, he loves him. I don't really know what the thing is. And first of all, there's a character. I'm so tired of people getting all like, oh, I can't watch this straight man. It's the character.
Look at that. Uncle Clifford was murdering Little Murder.
Was murdering his little murder hole.
But again, the first thing I said was, what you teaching these young homosexuals out here? You ain't gotta be douche. You just can't run up in anything and expect it to be clean. On Uncle Clifford's silk sheets, or silk rayon, I don't know what it
sateen. They were sateen.
The sateen sheet.
Yeah, the satin and cotton mix.
Ain't laying nothing down. You just don't run up anywhere without knocking and making sure that you've been invited.
Right, but no, I will say this. For me, past that, the most transitional important part for me, or the most part that I drew from it, was the grandmother, and the grandmother trying to make connection with the water, which was an ancestral thing that a lot of our ancestors did upon as a way of passage or passing over to get to the water, to the river. And that was deep.
Even though that water was dirty as hell.
Yes.
He sprinkled some of it on
He
her.
sprinkled some of it on her, right?
But I hope she don't die. I swear, I hope she don't die.
Yeah.
When I saw in the very first scenes
Mm-hmm.
where back in the day she was singing at the club and
Right.
everything, and
And
how
then
the time went on, and
Mhm.
the same song, the clothes changed, but
Yeah.
it was still her doing her thing or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, oh Lord, they're gonna kill her.
And then her daughter told her it was time, and she said, "No, not yet." But then she did say it was time, and then, of course, due to the COVID situation, I wonder if in the next couple episodes will he be able to see his grandmother, because, of course, you couldn't visit.
Yeah, in the beginning, because we have to remember too, that was in the very beginning of the whole
right.
thing.
So,
yeah,
but they also talked about teenage pregnancy, and they touched
and the abortion. Now that one was real strange.
Yeah.
The timing on that,
Yeah.
with the abortion issues that we're having here,
right? Because they filmed that a year before all this, so to have that be another focal point part of the episode, where Mercedes' young daughter finds herself pregnant and now has to make the decision to keep her baby, which she was gonna do because she felt like she was going to be a better mother than her mother. And her mother's trying to tell her, like, listen, this is not, it's not easy. It's not as easy as you think. And she said, well,
your life's over for her.
Yeah. She said the boyfriend said he's going to, get 2 and 3 jobs.
At first the boyfriend she hadn't told the boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at first she hadn't told the boyfriend yet. But did you happen to notice her stomach kept getting larger?
Yeah.
I kept looking at that. I was like, every scene was like, wait a minute. At first she just kind of looked a little pudgy or whatever, but then it was like she can't button her pants. It's like, are these damn pants shrinking or what?
So I don't know if maybe they just tried to do the level of like, although it may seem one day, it was a few days or a few months. Because I think, well, the way they're making that scene, it was like she is at the point where she has to make a decision, or else she will wind up keeping the baby because she can't.
She was so close. She was so far gone.
Yeah.
Already.
And she can't. She has to make
a matter of time.
Yeah.
And plus, she also still had to wait 24 hours. That's why they ended up staying overnight.
Right. Exactly.
But her. But then reminiscing too the way her Mercedes' mother had treated her doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And then she looked at herself turning into her mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because some kids romanticize it, and it's nothing. It's definitely nothing to do.
Well, I guess a lot of people do romanticize it when there's been a neglect in their own homes.
Very so.
So
because they equate it to unconditional love. The child will love me,
and I will love that child,
and I will love that child.
Yeah.
So,
but you don't know what the sacrifices that come with that,
Yeah, Patty, you always got to clean out everything.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're a man, you know that you can't be running up just anywhere and just say, "Hey, babe, we want to try this." No, you have to.
Well, maybe
you have to make an appointment.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he did the proper protocol.
I don't think so. Look, they were eating pork chops, collard greens, and what else?
They were not eating pork chops. No, he didn't.
Oh, they were eating too. The way that plate looked good as shit.
No, remember Clifford ate, and the grandmother ate. We never seen Little Murder eat the food. You never seen Little Murder eat the food. You can't say that. So he probably already knew. He was fasting for his moment.
He wasn't fasting that day.
He was fasting for his moment.
That's the one thing about anal sex. It's not a spontaneous thing. You need to think it through.
Yeah. You need to be prepared.
It's your birthday. It's that time of the year. Now you understand why. You just can't be running up in there. Because you definitely. And then he said, "Oh no," to the condom. I was like, "Wait a minute." Well, Clifford hadn't been doing anything, but then too,
right.
Murder was messing with.
He
teeth.
did mess with. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was messing with teeth, but he did wear a condom.
Right.
But still, you know. So so now you have to worry about.
I'm not going there with you. I'm not going there with you.
About bottom shaming thugs.
Right.
And that was the first thing I heard a lot of guys saying. I was like, how are you going to? I don't understand bottom shaming. I just really don't. Because
like at the end of the day, where you think it's going to happen? Where is it going to go?
Yeah.
There's no other orifice for anything of that nature to happen but that one. So to shame people or make them feel less than, even when people do it on here, it's like, why do you do that? What do you gain from that? First of all, it takes a lot to be submissive to someone and to be submissive to someone on that level.
But to hear it come from gay men.
Yeah, well, of course.
That's the thing that gets me. It's like, how do you bottom shame? I don't understand. That fucking blows my mind. It's like, wait a minute. Aren't you out here chasing? You literally chasing ass.
Right.
But then you're going to talk about them after you probably you're going to talk about them after you get the ass, right?
Right. That part.
I never understood that. And that just really,
or be bottom shaming and be a bottom themselves. And it's like, girl, you do the same thing. What are you doing? What are you doing? But yeah, they do it, unfortunately.
Too much. Let me say this thing got to give 2 hour prep before doing the nasty. I'm sure it is an art.
Yeah. Yeah, it does take some time.
Not only that, you would have to know your body.
Yeah, and that too. So as far as character licensing, we're going to say that Little Murder knows his body. He didn't eat the food because he didn't want to, paint the walls. So
he'd have painted them. He'd have painted them that red comforter.
He just let Uncle Clifford and Grandma eat, and he just chilled out until he was, Then he probably went back later and had some food. That's it. That's all. We'll use it as creative licensing.
Now, if he was lucky, Clifford wasn't a very large man.
The way he was, the eyes was bucking. I think to beg to differ. The way them eyes was bucking, I think.
You say he ate a light salad. Yeah, it wasn't a Chipotle. It wasn't a Chipotle day.
It definitely wasn't a Chipotle, or it wasn't a Taco Bell day. You would have heard that bell, dong. He would have been running for more than the border, the bathroom.
Running for the border.
The bathroom.
That was crazy. Yeah, but everybody, I keep forgetting too, because you just, you watch it on TV. It's piped into your homes now.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, shit, it happened, so.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing that kills me. It's like, you can't see it on TV. They shouldn't be showing this on TV, but it's real life. It's
real life.
There are real people in these same situations. There are real people that can't be there because of their feelings of society, how they may judge them, and you have people who are living themselves who have to live themselves alone and single because people don't even accept them, let alone accept somebody next to them, and they have to go through so much scrutiny. But what were you trying to say? Sorry.
But you know what it is too? It's the fact that I've noticed that whenever you see gay male sex, it's always aggressive.
But they're men.
You very no, but you never see it in a loving.
Oh
Where
yeah,
it's more of a loving. No, I'm talking
yeah, more
about,
intimacy.
two gorillas in the jungle making love. No, but it is
It
always,
sound like for some people.
but it is always aggressive.
Yeah,
And this, the last two that we've seen with this show, it is more loving.
Because they're loving relationships. There are people that have
But they don't. But
that
normally you don't see that. You
right.
always see the aggressive. It's always like in a hurry, snatch your pants down to your ankles. You don't even get undressed. There is no foreplay.
Right.
You just up in there.
One and done.
One and done. And that's it. You know.
Not the. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
So that, I think that throws a lot of people off too, because if you ever see these in other movies, or even they don't really. I think this is maybe like the most visual.
Yeah. I would love to say
it's always, it leaves a lot to the imagination.
Right.
So let's see, black gays. Even if porn is aggressive. Well, yeah. Well, you know what? Porn is, like I always say, porn isn't real anyway.
Right.
It's somebody's
fantasy,
and fantasy, and the big black buck type of thing, and it's always aggressive, because you very seldom see any foreplay out of porn, period.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you used to back in the day, where's the milkman? I wonder where the milkman is. Here I am. It's like, want to hear that corny ass music. You're like, okay. Who's
but
really?
Go ahead. Oh, okay. But even in straight porn, you ever see where they're actually having sex? The woman is always dry. She's always dry. Because there's no foreplay, because they always have her giving him oral,
right,
and then they go right into intercourse,
right.
Yeah, Pastor Nate, you popped up at a good time, and you always see that, and it never looks convincing, because you know that actor is really probably not into it.
Right, yeah. They're just doing it for the check or whatever. But yeah. I agree. I mean, I applaud this show on showing that there is love in same gender loving relationships, even in interactions where it's the person's first time, like Mercedes and that lady. It was very soft. It wasn't like, let me get it, let me try that. It was very like sensual and soft and caring, and although they were exploring each other, they did it in a passionate.
It's more sensuous, way, more soft,
more ladylike.
What are you screaming about, AR? Oh boy!
But I don't know. I just think all around. I mean, and it's enough titties and ass for everybody. I really don't see people's hang up in the show. If you like titties and ass, you get plenty of it. You get to see it. If you like heterosexual bang bangs, you get to see a lot of heterosexual bang bangs. If you like a little occasional, watching little women do a little licky, maybe a little swirly, you get to see that too. And if you happen to like same gender guys, where one's a little thuggish and the other one's a little princess, you get to see that too.
Yeah, you definitely get it's well rounded.
It kind of, it gives a little taste to everybody. So again, being more realistic to the world that we see.
And that's actually out here.
Yeah, really. It's always like, you always want to just portray one way and then talking about some, they're trying to overtake this situation. It's a movement. Well, wouldn't you think it's a movement if constantly somebody turns on the TV and all they saw was straight folks doing straight folk stuff? Is that
remember when you didn't see black people?
Right. And then there was a time where we didn't see any black folks. So it was a movement then? I mean, they kill me with this, it's always a movement. It's always they're trying to take over. Who's taking over? The same people that have the power still have it.
Yeah.
So talk to them.
But what are they trying to get if they're trying to take it over? That's what I've been trying to figure out.
I don't know. Trying to turn your children and other people into different versions that are not themselves. How do you know? I mean, I was watching a content creator. I dare not say her name because the stuff that she said to me was very disappointing and a bit vile, but I'll hold it to maybe you was drunk, which is not an excuse, but I'll just, whatever. But just the reality that we all come from heterosexual relationships. But that does not mean just because you come out of a heterosexual relationship that is what is destined for you. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous to me to have this mindset. Like, something's wrong with you because you choose to love a different way. There are animals in the kingdom that have different sexual organs that they are allowed to have children and are male, like seahorses and others. Mm-hmm. There's so many different things for us to look at to go, well, maybe we got the wrong idea here to think that everybody's just born this way and everybody should be this way. There's a whole bunch of different species out here. Why are we just stuck in our heads to think that we're only this one and we're only supposed to be this and this is how it's only supposed to be and nothing else? Who said that? Who wrote that? But then we'll say, oh, well, the book says,
you know who wrote that? It's in the book.
Right, but then we'll say the book says, all right, we can go to the book. Let's go to the book. The book, everybody, halts around. King James, who was struggling with homosexuality his damn self. Which is why a lot of times he was even sitting up here putting a lot of conflicting things because he was struggling with his own sexuality. So, of course, if I feel some type of way, the church feels some type of way. And on top of that, the church still struggles. These priests are still fucking boys in the ass and raping women. Still doing it. So if they were struggling with it back then, to then take certain things out of these great books and put certain things in to kind of deal with their own sexuality, and yet they're still here doing the same things, what is that telling you? But it's always, it's a diversion. They're diverted. This is crazy. They're not right. They're not human. They're this, they're that. And this is like, please get over yourself. Sometimes the people that talk the most are the same ones that have done it, have tried it, almost tried it, wanted to try it, but just never did it. Don't be mad at people because they can live themselves and be themselves authentically themselves. Whether we like them or not, let people be themselves and live how they want to live. Nobody's judging you on how you live your life. Your life is for you to live, not for you to live and judge other people on how they live. You live yours, mind your business, focus on whatever your goal is, and let other people do the same for their lives. This shit where we also invested in somebody else's life and who the fuck they're fucking because they're not fucking you, it's ridiculous to me. It really is. If they're not fucking you, what the fuck does it matter? I think that the people that are more engaged on who's fucking who are the people that want to be fucked by that person or them people.
Mm-hmm. That's the only time I would ask you.
That's the only time you need to be concerned. But if I'm not fucking you, what the fuck does it matter? Who somebody is fucking? I never understood why that is such the go-to point. of this whole thing. If you like that, then you go to that. Now, just because that doesn't want you, now it's don't be angry at everybody else because what you want don't want you. Now that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother thing that you got to deal with. But I just think this argument of being focused on what somebody wants or is doing sexually in their bed is like all gay men are nasty and perverted and sell themselves. No, actually, a lot of people are just genuine. And then too, if moments between the two become, oh, okay, well, I want to see this, and you show it, and you actually, trust that person to think, okay, well, they're not going to expose my stuff to the world. They're just going to keep it amongst themselves, and they do it. You can't. Who are you gonna blame for that? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I shouldn't have. I trusted the person to kind of keep it, between the two. And if
you
that
figured they were adult enough,
right? If that person goes and takes it and be childish and shows it to everybody else that I never sent it to, then what the fuck you want me to do? So, well, that's just not being. Please, I'm sure there's plenty of Polaroids around here with your ass and titties and twat-twats all out here. It's just that it cannot be digitally passed to people to be passed around. But I'm sure plenty of people got some Polaroids, your tutas, or
VHS, Betamax.
I mean, please, when people get so ridiculous. You got some 8-tracks with your voice on them, bitch, and you're moaning and groaning.
These are 8-tracks.
Yeah.
Damn.
With your old asses. But I just think that's just so ridiculous to me. It really is. Like, it's just so crazy that then we're gonna hold people or shame people for trusting other people to be like, oh, well, they're just selling themselves out for some dick or something. Like, no, actually, some of these people were probably having some sort of relationship in where they were getting to know one another, and it was like, okay, cool, it gets there. It got there with your hot ass. How you end up with children? Somebody was sitting there, yeah, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna tear that pussy up one day. I'm gonna tear that pussy up. Let me just hear you play with it, or whatever the fuck you was doing. And that's how it started. Just let me put it in the tip, and that's how it came about. So it's the same way. We just have to we do stuff differently because it's a different thing. They're not heterosexual people in many cases, so it's a different way that they go about kind of getting to that kind of okay. When I see you, we gonna tear it up or whatever, But again, to blame folks like, oh, they're just so nasty, so perverted, so this, so that. I'm sure there are plenty of the people at Plasma. I mean, I have straight female friends, and please, their Facebook DMs be full of just people just pulling out penis. Hi, how you doing? And instantly, the second picture is a penis. And I'm like, damn, nigga, I ain't asked for that. So again, to just make it seem like, oh, these gay men on here are disgusting. These gay men on here are vile. Blah 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 blah. Girl, there's a lot of hot in the twat area women out here too. Okay.
Oh yeah. They preach it. They preach a stellar and cleanly life.
Right.
But they.
Hot
nasty too. They're
nasty too.
Mm-hmm.
So please
and get assaulted if you turn them down. They become vicious.
You playing with me. You playing with me. Nobody's playing with you. But at the end of the day, it's not. What you think it is. It's not that it's not. It's just everybody has their comfort level. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not like, I'm not, this is not for pay. This is not for play. This is not, oh, I'm trying to rack up on it. I don't have a scoreboard. It's not my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not going to be like, oh, well, let me knock this one out. That's not my life. And it ain't never going to be my life. So it is what it is.
Patty, you don't have no pictures, Patty?
No Polaroids either.
No VHS.
No VHSs. No 8-tracks with your voice on it.
Uh-huh.
But I just think it's ridiculous. Like it really, really.
You didn't go, and you didn't go for the tip line either.
Well, The tip line
that's why she shut down her Facebook.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's really true. I don't, it's just like, okay, you don't see that side. Well, if you don't see it, don't speak upon it. That's all I'm saying. Speak upon what you know. Stop throwing, people do that, gay straight or whatever on here. They just throw shit out there, throw it to the wind, and just, whatever stick goes. No, start looking at stuff and really getting to know what you're talking about to find out if it's facts or if it's just some bullshit you think of because you think all men do this and all men. Trust, there are a lot of men, gay straight or in between, that are just sexual. Period.
Oh yeah, they will fuck anything.
They will fuck anything. So to think that it's
that's just their drive.
Their thing. If you think it's just this, no, there are some other men here that are just, they may have a little bit of a freaky side, or if the right person asks them, they'll show it. No big deal. But does that mean that they're perverted, nasty, and whatever? No, it just means that, hey, if they trust somebody enough or open to somebody enough to show them, they'll show them, whatever. But then if that person then takes it upon themselves and do whatever and then expose it, now all of a sudden that person is not valued because their stuff got exposed. But did they expose it or did somebody else expose it?
Well, it's different. It's different nowadays. I mean, it's not traumatizing or stigmatizing. You don't ruin somebody's life or gain a reputation because you show a selfie.
Yeah, well,
it just does not have that same stigma.
Yeah, well,
and then it's easier to keep it more private because it's either in your phone or on your computer.
Right, and that part is true. That part is definitely true. It is definitely a way to keep it more private. But if somebody makes it public, it's not the person's fault who gave it to them.
No, it's the person that's putting it out there.
It's the person that put it out there. So you know what I'm saying? It's like when you kind of gathering everybody up for some bullshit. It's like, no, keep your argument to the one person that you're arguing with, and keep all of your facts or all of your I won't even say facts. What was that? How that lady put it? Your alternative facts. Keep them all focused on that one person that you're arguing with, and stop trying to paint everybody with this brush that you think that you know nothing about. You know nothing about at all. Just the stuff that you don't know nothing about, don't speak on. Speak on what you know. And again, if you're going after somebody in particular, go at them. Go at them for whatever perversions you think they do or that you know that they have done. But stop trying to throw shit out there that you have no idea what the person has done, because everybody's not like that. And that's just point blank in the period.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. But on that note, you got a good 25 minutes out of my.
Oh, you've been getting kind of long-winded.
Yeah. Whatever. Any closing thoughts, prayers, comments, or concerns? Thanks everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody who came and stopped by and dropped in and said hello. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up button on the way out, please. It was always a pleasure hanging out. Let's see.
Oh,
well, what?
Pet owners, if you own cats, be aware that they have a virus. A new virus. That is the equivalent of parvo, and it has an 80% mortality rate. So it's so far, I think it's Oregon. It's in Oregon. And
virus out in Ghana. No.
Yeah, one in Ghana. I don't know what that is. I was reading that earlier today. But yeah, this it kind of mimics, the cat becomes lethargic, build up around the eyes and things like that. If you're having any issue like that, just take them to the vet. I tell you, Mother Nature, she's pulling out all the stops. She's going to get rid of all of us. And you know whose fault it is? The white people in DC. Crazy ass white men. All those white men there.
No, I did not hear about that, but I will read up on it.
Yeah. It's just out of the blue.
Somebody has sent me something talking about a lot of this is due to the matter, the dark matter that they've been researching, trying to know more about it, but they've been doing a lot of this digging into dark matter, and this is the reason why we've been bombarded with all of these viruses and
now, what is actually dark matter?
I will send it to you because I was reading it and I was just like,
now I would have figured
very physics. It's very much physics.
Physics
That part of science and stuff. I'm just like, I definitely read up on that because I'm not that versed in that. Give me political history and all that kind of stuff, and I'm good. That other stuff, I'll be like, yeah, but what?
Yeah, because I would have thought it was because of the melting of a lot of the permafrost. So a lot of dormant bacteria is now being re-released.
Well, it talks about that too, in a sense, but basically saying how this search for dark matter, and I think it's called CLEN, I think. I'll look for the article again. But yeah, I was just like, wow, I've never heard of that. So I was looking into that too. But yeah, all this stuff, like you never know. Like, you know what I'm saying? You never know why these
especially things that our governments
are hiding. Like there are a lot of physicists doing a lot of work. The atom bomb was created by a group of physicists in secret. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't surprise me that they would be messing around with things either for a weapon.
Oh, it's always that.
Yeah,
that's always the thing.
Right. And the effects of that is all of this that we're getting with the climate change being sped up with, disease and viruses. Now you think you got rid of one or one is under control. Here comes another one. It's like there's never a breath like, Oh,
yeah, because that one jumped on Joe's ass. That's probably why he was fist bumping the air.
Yeah. I was like, Lord have mercy, crazy.
Too much.
It's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg all over again. Sweet Jesus. But anyway, I ain't got nothing else to say. Thank you guys for coming out. Just want to give you guys a nice little round of applause for the night. Once it does it. Nice. Okay, here we go. Thank you for hanging out. And until next time, America, as always, God bless. Good night. Be safe. Moisturize. Okay? Wash your damn hands because you don't want no goddamn monkeypox. Don't nobody want that shit.
Give me 5 minutes afterwards.
Go ahead. Okay, sure, no problem.
Okay.